Brianna. I'm a Wichita wedding photographer here in Kansas. I post as much helpful content as I can to help brides in the planning process. Coming from a professional wedding photographer and a bride that's been in your shoes and knows exactly what it's like. You booked your photographer, venue, caterer, your florist, all of your main vendors, and you're thinking to yourself, what do I do next? First of all, congratulations, because that's a huge win. Booking all of those main vendors is absolutely huge. So you should at least give yourself a pat on the back, because that's a huge thing to check off your list. I just want you to know that you are not behind and you are 100% not alone. So today I'm going to break down the exact next steps that you should take to keep checking things off your list. These things will actually make the biggest difference in the next coming months. So let's dive in. First things first, you need to finalize your guest list. I recommend doing this in a spreadsheet so it stays super organized, really easy to see. You can use Google Sheets, Excel, or even Numbers, I think is the Apple version. This is going to help you set a foundation for pretty much everything else. You need to do this before you can even get started on invites, seating chart, your catering numbers. I recommend creating an A list and a B list. Your A list is going to be everyone that you absolutely want there, your closest friends and family, and then a B list for all the people that you would really love to invite. But if it's not in your budget and you have too many on your list, those are the people that, kind of hard to say it, but you cut from your list. Okay, now let's talk about creating the Excel sheet itself and how you should lay it out. You can do up to like 6 different columns of this. You can make it as complex or as non-complex as you want. So if you're type B, you can put their name, their address, their email. And if you're type A, you can also put their dietary needs. If they're gluten-free, because you do need to know this for the caterer. The caterer will ask you have anybody has any dietary needs or any allergies. So this is a column that's important. You can also put the relationship that they have with you. I recommend this more so for list B. Pro tip, decide on a max number with your partner. This will help you guys stay in budget. Okay, that is step 1. Hurrah! Okay, the second thing that I think you should do is send your save the dates. Once you have your guest list solid of everybody that you want to send a save the date and invitation to, you're going to want to start sending save the dates, especially if you have any out of town guests or if it's a destination wedding. You want to get these save the dates sent out as soon as possible. I like to say that you should send them 6 to 8 months out. If it's during a holiday season or like peak wedding season, I would recommend that you do it even sooner. There's a couple different ways that you can do this. You can do a digital invite, which is very budget friendly, or you can send out physical save the dates, which are nice to have and to hold and to keep forever. Make sure on your save the date you include your wedding website so that way people can start planning their travels. On your website, you're also going to include your registry. That's also another fun thing that you could do. You could make it a date night by making a list of all these different things that you want for your registry for your first home together. If you're unsure where you should make your wedding website, I personally use Zola and I absolutely loved it. My favorite part about Zola was the invites and save the dates. You can add every single person that you want to invite to your wedding to your guest list on Zola's website and have their name, their email, and their address. If you're going to give them a +1, if you know the +1's name or you don't, or if it's a couple or a family, whatever the situation is, you can add all that information into Zola. And then whenever you go to order the save the dates, if you order them through Zola, they will put their name, their address, and your address on the envelope, so you don't have to write any of that stuff out. Once you get it in the mail, all you have to do is slap a stamp on it and send it on its way. I really like Zola. No, it's not the cheapest option, but it was more convenient and easier to use than designing my own on like Canva and then having to write it all out. So it just depends where you want to spend your money. The next thing that I recommend that you do is book your secondary vendors. I would say that your number 1 priority vendors that you need to book is your venue, photographer, videographer, florist, and caterer, because those people book up the fastest. After that, you have your secondary vendors that are very important that you do need to get scheduled as soon as you can, but they don't fill up as quickly as those top vendors. These vendors include your officiant, wherever you're getting your wedding cake. Your hair and makeup artists are very, very important, and make sure you do a hair and makeup trial. Do not skip it, please. If they offer it, don't skip it. And if they don't offer it, ask for one. Trials are very important because you could walk in wanting one thing, they do your makeup, do a few tweaks, and on your wedding day, you are obsessed with it. I personally think they're very, very important. Next thing is rentals. If you have to rent a bar, like one of those portable bars, or chairs, tablecloths, anything like that, a DJ, or not a DJ, what am I thinking of? A photo booth. Lighting if your DJ doesn't provide all the lighting that you're wanting, a dance floor, anything like that. Anything you have to rent that a vendor has to bring by, set up, anything you have to rent. Then your transportation. How are you going to get to the venue? How are you going to get home from the venue? Is the bride and groom going to have special transportation different than wedding party? You could do limos, shuttles, party buses. I've seen party buses a lot for bridal parties. I've seen shuttles a lot to and from hotels, which is very nice. After you are done celebrating, having a DD to take you home or to your hotel. And then lastly, photo booth or entertainment. So your DJ or a live band. If you're doing live band, I feel like that might be a vendor you book in the beginning. I don't know. I've never booked a live band before, so I don't know how long it would take. Prioritize based on your vision and what's important to you. So if you already booked food and flowers and then hair and makeup is really important to you, I would do that next. Especially if you have a specific vendor in mind, I would book them as soon as possible. Number 4, I haven't been numbering these until now, but number 4 is just shop for your wedding attire. You're going to want to start dress shopping for you, your bridesmaids, suits for your groomsmen, the groom. You're going to want to start doing all these things about 9 to 12 months out, I would say, especially your dress. The bride's dress is very important. Alterations can take time, so definitely go get your dress as soon as possible. For the bridesmaids, choose what colors and what styles you're going for. If you want different colors, especially if you are unsure on what colors you want, order some swatches because that also takes time. For the guys, suits and tuxes can be a lot faster, but guys like to put things off. So tell them about it sooner rather than later because they're probably not going to be on top of things. Make sure you don't forget about shoes, accessories, jewelry, anything that you want specific for the girls or the guys to wear. Tip number 5 is to focus on the digital things. So finalize your wedding website. This includes your registry, travel, your fax page, anything that a lot of people are going to ask you questions about. I would recommend you put on your fax page. I would say the number 1 question is what to wear. I would definitely tell your wedding guests what you're kind of thinking if you want something specific. If you're wanting garden party theme, cocktail, formal, semi-formal, all those kinds of things. Then I would set up your hotel block so that way you can section off those blocks for your guests that are traveling from out of town. Ooh, that's kind of scary. I have my thing set so the wallpaper runs through all the different ones that move, and when that one pops up, it's not my favorite. I have all my tips over here. That's why I keep looking over here. Okay, next, create your day of timeline and your floor plan. This is going to be very helpful on your wedding day, so that way you know exactly what's going on, when it's going on, and where all the items are going. Creating your timeline is an absolute game changer. I like to do this with my brides as soon as possible because it helps them lay out the entire day. I'm a visual person. When I was planning my wedding, I was like, oh my goodness, I need to start creating brides' timelines as soon as possible because this would have been so helpful in my planning journey. So I started doing that for all of my brides before you even officially book with me. So when a bride fills out my inquiry form and schedules a consult call with me, I get on the phone with them. I ask them all kinds of different questions about what they're dreaming about for their day. Then after the call, I make them a timeline based on everything that they told me on the call. No matter if you book me or not, I want to help you through your planning journey. I just enjoy this so much. So this little section is very important to me. I love this little section. But if you're making it yourself, work backward from your ceremony. Ask your photographer that you have booked how long they think each thing is going to take. This will also help you build your timeline if they don't create one for you. In your schedule, you can also include when vendors are supposed to arrive, when photos are, first looks, cocktail hour, dinner, exit, all the things. A couple months before your wedding, I would share this with all of your vendors so that way everybody's on the same page. You should also start thinking about your floor plan and how exactly you plan on setting up your day. If you're a visual person like me, setting up your floor plan will be very, very helpful so that way you know exactly where things are going to go on the day of. Tip number 7 is to plan your rehearsal dinner. Yay, another event. This one shouldn't be as stressful. Book the location that you want to have your rehearsal dinner. If you plan on doing a day after brunch, I would also do this then. These events are usually a lot more relaxed, but they still require a little bit of planning. Tip number 8, my very last tip, the boring stuff. Legal, insurance, and budgeting. A lot of venues require you to have day of insurance, and you can get this online. There's a couple different websites out there that you can get this on. I will link them in the description. Don't forget, go apply for your marriage license. My husband and I didn't know that you were supposed to book an appointment, and I think it was like 2 weeks before our wedding, and his mom was like, I think it was his mom, did you make your appointment? And we're like, an appointment? we didn't know we needed an appointment. So we got an appointment. So don't forget about that because it's pretty important. But every state is different. So I would just do your research. For your budget, make sure that you are keeping track of all of your invoices that you've paid, contracts that you've signed, keep them all in a folder. You might need them later. If you made it this far, thank you for watching. I'm going to include some bonus tips to help with planning. Schedule regular planning dates with your partner. So maybe that's every Thursday night you sit down and work on something. This way also planning doesn't take over your life because you have specific days set aside for it. My last and most important tip, if you take nothing away from this video, take this away. I highly recommend you hire a day of coordinator. Please, please, please hire a day of coordinator. I promise you will not regret it. They are so insanely valuable to your wedding day. Anytime anybody has a question, anything is going wrong, someone misplaced something, the day of coordinator is going to have your back and going to help you out. There's so many things. I can make a whole video about how amazing day of coordinators are, but if it's not in your budget to get a day of coordinator, designate a person that's preferably type A that can do all of these different things, but a wedding coordinator is phenomenal. They have the experience and have been doing this for a while, so I highly recommend coordinators. I just love them so very much. Anyway, off my soapbox. At the end of the day, please remember you do not have to do everything at once. Pick 1 or 2 things to knock off your list each week and everything's gonna get done. You've got this. I believe in you. And if you need any help, hire a coordinator. Drop a comment and let me know what is the next thing that you are tackling on this list. Which step feels the absolute scariest? What do you need the most help with? Because this gives me ideas on different videos that I can make to continue to help you guys. If you want my full printable checklist, the link is in the description. Like this video if it helped. Subscribe for more wedding planning tips, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.